Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back to True Crimes of Scientology with me, Nora, your hostess with the mostest. I just wanted to give a quick recap here for those of you guys who have left the other channel and only hang out here of everything that's going on. Um, yeah. So, as most of you know, or maybe you don't, there is a current legal battle going on between myself and Anthony D'Amato, aka Zero Dark Tony, um, where he has somehow obtained a temporary restraining order, because the restraining order hasn't been granted. We're in the hearing process against me, even though I don't live or work in Los Angeles. Yeah. So that's where we're at on that. The original hearing date came and went. I went to that in Los Angeles. I really tried to mentally prepare myself as much as I could. And listen, legally it went well. Legally it went well. It's just the process is a lot more complicated than I thought. And that's why I've hired a lawyer, which I'm doing fundraising for. Remember to pin the GoFundMe. Joe is all over it as per usual. Let me bring that up and share it and pin it to my own channel. That's the wrong channel, Nora. I have to log into the other thing. Here we go. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let's pin it in there. Here we go. We're going to pin that. And then I pin it. Pinned it. There we go. All right. Oh my goodness, guys. And I'll bring up the GoFundMe here so you guys can see that. Also, that's an odd shape. Let's fix that. Why is it? Oh, I see what it's doing. It's not. There we go. Da-da-da-da. Okay, so here's the GoFundMe, guys. That's my visage. You're already seeing that here. If you can give, fantastic. If you can't, my PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, all that kind of stuff is still there. So yes. And thank you to everyone who's donated. All these people who just donated, thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. Just full disclosure, the lawyer's retainer is $5,000. So I need to raise that to, keep my defense up here. It's very important. These are, very exact legal things that need to be done in the correct way. I mean, that's how those things go. Okay. Whoa. That's not. I don't even know what to say about all of that. That's my text messages. It should not be showing that. Because I clicked on an application, it threw it up because I said use the current application. See, now it's on the right thing. So, there you go. I make mistakes live, guys. And I apologize to the person whose text messages I had up there. Anyway, nothing confidential. It's all right. It's just not something I was broadcasting to everybody. I apologize. Anyway, this is part of it, guys. My mind has been kind of all over the place. a little bit. And so really got to work on keeping that together. As you guys know, as you followed me on my Scientological truth telling journey, there are a lot of ups and downs. There are a lot of things that can come back to smack me in the face eventually. Oh, yeah. And they oftentimes do at times that I'm not expecting and that I don't necessarily deal with in the best way possible. Hey, Miriam, thanks for coming on over. Yeah, it wouldn't be alive from me without technical difficulties, would it? But despite my personal situation that's going on, I do want to highlight a very specific, very important thing that's happening right now. Thanks to Audit LA, who put this out there. Okay. Um, and actually technically I guess William put it out first. This gentleman here, Alex Villanueva, is running for sheriff. Yeah. And he's being hosted in Espanol at, of course, the Los Angeles organization there at 4810 Sunset Boulevard, Lebanon Hall, which is the little chapel that they have that's actually not at the address that they list there. It's actually down L. Ron Hubbard Way, like kind of in the middle, right? So I tried to call that phone number that's listed on the poster there. It went to voicemail. I would encourage people. I don't know. Let's go here. Let's see. Alex Villanueva campaign contact. So here we go. This is his actual contact info. They are there if you're in Los Angeles at 111 North La Brea Avenue, Suite 408. And you can send them an email. Become a volunteer. Let's see if there's a phone number there. Nope. Oh. See, these are the hours they are there. Tuesday and Thursday, 4 to 9. Saturday, 10 to 3. And Sunday, 1 to 9. Yeah, the email address on the poster also has a typo. I know. That's kind of embarrassing for them. But I want to see if there's any other info at alexvillanueva.org. Because, guys, the info on the photo here, who is this? Tapia Pablo, 865 at gmail.com. Yeah. So is this Juan Tapia's stuff? Juan Pablo Tapia? Tapia Pablo at gmail. But yeah, if this is some guy who's his coordinator, we should talk to them. It doesn't sound like there's another way. Let's see here. Yeah, it's all going to be email. But they have a Facebook, they have an Insta, and they have a Twitter. Let's look at the Instagram here. Oh, okay. That one doesn't work. Let's look at the Twitter. There he is. Alex for sheriff. So here's all his campaigny stuff. I still don't believe that they found a whole bag of Skittles that was just filled with fentanyl. That's crazy talk. So we definitely need to find out how we can talk to him. But here, you can contact him here. I'm sure you can DM him. Doesn't look like he has that option. Let's see what happens when we follow him. Can you DM him now? Nope. I don't need to follow him. Okay. So there you go on that. Yeah. But there you go. Alex for sheriff. So you can send an email. Yes. Yes, you can send me any email you want ever, Amy. Go ahead. But what I'm saying about this, guys, is oh, sorry, that's Tony. This is classic Scientology safe pointing. Okay. And what does that mean? What does safe pointing mean? Right. So this is where they invite future candidates that they are clearly endorsing. Okay. And they are throwing money at this campaign. They're hosting an event. They're gonna pay for the event. They're gonna bring food. They're gonna bring people. Okay. And by doing this, they are creating goodwill. What's my email? I have 500 of them. You can send it to which one is this? Give me 1 second. Just send it to any, True Crime with Nora. There you go. Thank you. I have too many emails, guys, but my mods know what's what. They all come to me. So it's just, I get them all in one inbox. But yeah, so you create all this goodwill so that when people bitch about you, okay, when people come out with the dark truth about Scientology, people look away. They're like, oh, well, they held a fundraiser for me and they're so nice. And they like did all these things. I can't possibly believe that any of these things are true. So they don't investigate it. They don't get into it, right? Which is how they've built this relationship with LAPD for so many years, right? So this man is running for re-election. The former sheriff, the former most famous sheriff that they had, Lee Baca, who, of course, if you live in Southern California, you know that he was involved in monumental scale corruption. And then, of course, got Alzheimer's and went to jail. So, yeah. Not shocking, but sad nonetheless. But this is the type of thing, guys, that we need to be on top of. Right? Because this is how Scientology does it. This is how Scientology stays relevant. This is how they stay in operation. Okay? Is they continue to manipulate the political system in their favor by having judges, by having carefully placed law enforcement, by having people on city councils, by having influential, famous people in places to legitimize their crime syndicate. Okay. And does my case have anything to do with Scientology? Possibly. There have been suppositions and allegations in the past that Anthony D'Amato is a paid agent provocateur. In the I got a little thing here, a little sparkle. What is that? In the ex-Scientology world, a paid disruptor, if you will, to fuck up people's ability to speak out. Now, we see two major people who have come into the ex-Scientology movement around the same time, right when it was heating up, and interesting. So that's his official statement. He responded to Amy saying, "This is not a Scientology event. It's a community event we were invited to speak to, nothing more." Wow. I love that he got back to you. I think we need to put some more pressure on him and educate him. 100%. 100%. There needs to be more education going on there because that's Wild. That's wild, Amy. That's wild. This gentleman, who was I talking about? This gentleman right here, Lanikin, Alex Villanueva. We just went over, where's this guy, Alex for Sheriff. And this is his campaign page, alexvillanueva.org. No, I do not want to volunteer for you, sir. Just saw this promo, blah, 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 blah. And then if you go to contact way down here, then you can send him a message. I think everybody should go here. Let me, I'm going to put this in the comments. Okay. And please go and not only go here and contact him via email, via his form, but go to his Facebook page. Okay. That's public. He's put that out there. Let's put that up here. Oh, I don't want to log in to Facebook. Craponomica. Let me see if it's on my Safari, because sometimes it works there. Copy. Paste. Because I don't have a Facebook for the business stuff. This content isn't available right now. Okay, let me look for it. Alex Villanueva. Yeah, he flipped. Oh, no, stop it. Good Lord. Apparently he flipped parties also. So he went from being a Democrat to a Republican. Wow, what an announcement. Wow, that's as of today, I'm leaving the party of paid protests, purple hair, and pronouns, joining the party of faith, family, and freedom. Ew. I'm just searching for him. Here we go. Where's his fucking... Okay. This is his page, I think. Yeah. This is his public page. So let's put that link in there. I guess I don't know. I don't know much about this sheriff election, but there you go. He wants you to see his dad bod with the shorts here. Can someone work with him on that? That's... Yeah, he's... Deputies organization is backing him. So this is in the 2026 race. A Charlie Kirk post or two. I don't think that's real. Tough guy. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is his official page. It's got the alexvillanueva.org. Does his Instagram work? No. Okay. But go there. You can go leave him a message. Go leave him a message, since he cares so much about, not having pronouns and stuff, and whatever else he cares about. Regardless of the rest of his political leanings, he's being sponsored by Scientology right now. And he needs to know that. He needs to understand that, because there's no two ways around it, right? When you allow yourself to do that, then that's bad news bears, right? That's just bad news bears. Where is that? So if you guys want to go to those places, I've put them in there. Um, yeah, let's make sure that we let them know. We let them know. Um, so let's circle back here. So when we talk about, things like this, okay, the safe pointing here. And it has been pointed out that the person who got the restraining order on me, let's rewind the clock to May of 2023, where he made his debut into the community on. Oh, I really hope he does. I really hope Streets does. I hope he shows up. I will. I will fucking be watching that live stream. That's for sure. But back in 2023, Aaron brought a guest onto his show, onto like a Monday Night Live, and introduced Anthony D'Amato, Zero Dark Tony, where he told us his tale of woe about how he had been recruited into Scientology by Jenna Elfman and her husband on the Paramount set, and that he had done the Purif, and that it didn't really work for him. And then that was it. That was like his whole story. And then it changed a bunch of times. He said he had all these celebrity stories. He had a Kirstie Alley story. He had an Isaac Hayes story. Somehow he seems to always know somebody. He did cocaine once with Tupac. Just like crazy, crazy stuff. That can never be verified because like the person's dead or they're a super celebrity that no one has a contact info for to be like, I'm sorry, I heard this. Did this happen? So yeah. And he started making content about Scientology. His first videos about that were, he did one about Tool, which was an interesting video about how they had performed there and in like protest. And, about Tony Ortega and Chris Shelton. Boy, I thought I disliked Chris Shelton, but he did a whole thing with the chimes and the stuff. And then he started collaborating with a woman named online. Her name was Rotting Jules. I think she still has a channel. I don't know. I'm not in contact with Dana. But he started some sort of like online romance with her. Or something, and they started collaborating. She has done a lot of deep dives into a lot of culty stuff. That's kind of like her thing. And she presents a lot of stuff. And there's things she's presented that I definitely don't agree with, but like she does a thorough job. I'll say this to wage her argument. She definitely doesn't just say stuff out of hand with nothing to back up about her opinion. Whether I agree with it or not, that's two different sides of the toast there. But she came on as a guest and started talking about a very specific woman in the field of psychiatry I'm sorry, forgive me, this has been a year, but a very specific woman in the field of psychiatry who has some controversial theories and views and stuff. And Vanessa LaRose, who is a survivor of Scientology, because we were all like when somebody would come on Aaron's show, just to give you guys an understanding, it meant that they were part of it. It meant like, oh, okay, they're part of the crew now. We're going to sub to them. We're going to encourage other people to subscribe to them. We're going to watch their streams. We're all in this together because we're all fighting Scientology. So we need everybody to sort of feel the love and get pumped up. And he gained a bunch of subscribers from that, including myself. I subbed right away. And one night he was having this discussion, and I don't remember if it was during the live or a comment after the stream, where Vanessa challenged some things that Dana had said by simply saying she thought she was incorrect about this particular psychiatrist, right? Because Vanessa, as a survivor of Scientology, had made the decision to go into becoming a counselor. So she was in the middle of studying this, okay? That singular act of just like saying, hey, I don't think you understand the data about this. In thinking back on the comment, it wasn't like, you're a fucking idiot. What a fucking moron. How dare you say that? It was just very from what I remember, just very much like, I don't think you fully grasp like all of her stuff. Dana got upset about that. But more so, Tony turned into this like Bajumba from hell and was like, you don't fucking come over here and insult my girl. You better apologize. And just like went nuts. And so all of us were like, bro, what's up? Like, maybe she's not right. I don't fucking know. I'm not a student of psychology. But this seems like way overboard of a reaction for this. That is the singular moment that started all of this. And when he started making these videos about Vanessa, I told her, just ignore him. Clearly he's, you know, kind of wild, kind of not, you know, safe or whatever. I unsubbed. I was like, I don't want to have anything to do with this guy. Like, no. And he DM'd me on Twitter about RFK Jr. And he's like, I know a bunch of stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's talk about that. And then he brought up Vanessa. And I said, listen, I really think that you and Vanessa got kind of off on the wrong foot. And maybe I could help sort this out. You know, like, I'd love to talk to you about this just to like sort of squash it. And he demanded that I call him right then. I said, I can't call you right now. I'm at work. Because at that time I was working for T-Mobile and I was in a call center. So I couldn't call him. I said, but please just don't, you know, he's telling me about some video he's making. I said, please don't make that video until we speak. Like, just, I'm off at this time. I think I was off at 4:30. I said, I'm off at 4:30. Please wait for my phone call so we can talk. He didn't wait for my phone call. He did the video anyway. At which point I unfollowed him on all socials. And then I became his next target. And if you recall from those videos, he said multiple times that I could have ended all of this if I had just called him to apologize. Apologize? Because you blew up on the internet about something that you shouldn't even been upset about? I think you have it twisted, sir. And that is how all of this started, guys. It started a back and forth between us for the last 2 years, which escalated into very real threats against me. And now he has taken it to a legal realm by issuing and going to a courtroom, guys, and filling out paperwork claiming a lot of stuff that he swore to under oath. That, in my opinion, that was a mistake. That's all I'm going to say about that. For those of you guys who have seen the paperwork, because it's publicly available, it's public record, guys. It's a civil case. This is not a criminal case. Anybody can look it up. Yeah. Our next court date is the 28th, back there in Van Nuys at the Van Nuys Courthouse East. It's a very small courtroom, guys. Teeny tiny. But that's where I'll be. I've already purchased my tickets, guys. But I need to, I'm borrowing things to purchase this. So if you guys can help me out, I would really appreciate that. Yeah. I would really appreciate it. Because this is, as I discussed on my stream this morning, it's about more than just the money for the situation, which is I'm asking for quite a bit of money. I get that. And frankly, it saddens me when I see, the various Reddits that basically tell me that I should understand my place. I should know my place by how much support I get. And the fact that Scott gets all this support should tell me everything, essentially, that I'm not popular. I'm not a good person. I am undeserving of help. And it's my own fault that Tony has run this campaign against me for 2 years. Um, I vehemently disagree with that assessment. It is very cruel and very mean. Yeah, support is not measured in money. That is also very true, Miriam. It is interesting, and it is interesting to me to note that, I mean, Tony has very specific supporters. He has 86 GOP and Danny Gahn, whoever they are, I have no idea, who give to him every night. The meaner he is, the more vile, reprehensible, and disgusting he is. They give more money. They do $500 super chats, y'all, so that they can chime in on the disgust. Quality over quantity. Yes. And the same thing goes for Scott, right? Scott says gross things. And he gets more now. He can't get super chats because he's been demonetized. No, I don't ever expect money to be thrown at me. Guys, I'm not a stripper. Strippers expect money to be thrown at them because that's part of the gig. You go on the stage, you wiggle your titties, you dance on a pole, and then you expect people to fucking throw that money. I am not a stripper, so I don't expect that. Yeah. It is frustrating to me that these two individuals who, from my own observation and, thinking through the law, have actually committed crimes that are actionable. And both of them are facing cases by the state of California, not a civil case asking them for damages. The state of California has charged them with crimes. Why was Scotty demonetized? For violating YouTube's terms of service. And he got one channel. First of all, he had channels connected to each other. Like, this channel has nothing to do with my other channel, right? And the other channel that he had, the Legal Wars channel, kept reposting Jenna's video that she took down after she made it about what happened between her and Aaron. And he even made a thread on there, like, I'm going to repost it every day. I don't care. And so then he was just posting audio. But in one day, he received a strike from Natalie, from Aaron, and from Jenna. So he got triple striked on one day, and the channel was immediately removed. And then I guess his regular channel's been reported so many times that they were like, bro, because you have too many violations, we're kicking you out of the program. Because you have to be invited, right? There's requirements that you have to meet as a creator, right? You have to have at least 3,000 watch hours and 1,000 or 500 subscribers now, and then you can go live. You have to have 1,000 before you can get into the monetization pool, right? And the monetization pool means you can turn on ads and get ad revenue from that. It means you can have memberships and that you can receive super chats, right? And Scott liked to lie all the time and say, I'm not monetized. There's no ads. But he would get super chats all the time. And we had a huge argument about that once, where he lied repeatedly saying he wasn't monetized. Your monetization is being part of the content creator program and the AdSense program. Okay. And if Google says you are not worthy to be part of that AdSense program, they can take it from you. Now, he can still upload videos to YouTube, which he's doing because, in his own words, he refuses to learn Patreon, right? Because let's face it, if somebody has to pay only way to see your content is to pay $5 a month, A lot of his fans aren't going to do that. Why? Because everybody wants to watch and lurk and fucking be disgusting to people for free. And yeah, they want to do that for free. And then if they feel really pumped up, they'll give you $5. They'll give you $20. You know, I mean, he has a whole Rumble. But Scott is also not very technically inclined. So he sets up an email and then he doesn't remember, you know, the fucking email address password. So he can't get into it. My watch is on a roll today doing weird shit. It's listening to me and I'm pushing a button or something. I got to adjust where I have it on my wrist. But yeah, somehow Siri just added, Scott is not technically inclined to my Costco shopping list. And that's not what I intended there, but very comical. You know, and here's the deal. Here's where I get beef, right? Because I believe I donated to Scott's original legal fund. I'm pretty sure I did. I know I gave some to Josiah. I don't have a lot of money, guys. This is back in the day when I was making, you know, more money. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm not making money here on YouTube. My business is upside down. And I continue to do it because the more you do, the better you do. And I haven't been able to do more because my mental health has been in the fucking toilet. The fucking toilet. You spend your days hacking into your own accounts. Irish. Guys, that's why I try and store all my stuff on my cloud. You know, you gotta store it in your cloud. That's like use the password manager. That's one of the greatest things on YouTube and on Google and on Apple is use the password manager. Let that thing remember for you. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about fundraising. So Scott has raised tens of thousands of dollars for his legal case. But as we all know, and as he said today, he's the best person for the job. So he's going to continue to represent himself. And apparently there's a lot. I mean, but I don't understand how he and Tony want us to believe that they are like not following the same playbook right now. Both of them are basically trying to act as their own lawyer constantly. Both of them are raising money for their legal fund. However, I don't know what Scott's spending all that on other than whatever he is deciding to spend it on. And yeah. It just seems really odd to me. And what's really odd to me, too, is that both of them are trying to do the same thing. Scott is now in the gang mindset, trying to prove that there's a gang. Tony thinks that he's going to prove that we're all in a gang. Like, some of his evidence, guys, was just screenshots from his fucking chat. They weren't even they weren't talking about me. It was just people being like, you're an idiot. I don't know how that's proves that people are in a gang if some rando on the internet thinks you're an idiot. I'm sure people scrolling through their live feed right now coming on here are like, who's this bitch? What the fuck? And they're just like, keep scrolling. That's fine. Yeah. So it's astounding to me that their arguments sound identical for two totally different purposes. Now, Tony doesn't talk about his case against Solomon because he can't. And I hope he doesn't try to do that. That would be another violation. You know, and that he has a huge hearing. I showed this already on the other video, but I'll show y'all again. Oh, good grief. Here we go. So this is Tony's calendar. This is Tony's legal calendar for the month of October. So this week he's got a little break. This week he's on vacation. Okay. Scott just had his court day today. I don't know what happened with that because I didn't watch his thing yet. But on Monday, coming up a week from today, Tony has 3 cases that are being heard in multiple courts. So that's kind of a choice for him. The first one would be Mindy. The second one, I believe, is Mindy's boyfriend that he thinks is hero like Cody, that he totally isn't. And this other person is Jason, who's a rando from the internet, who he thinks is Johnny Bravo. So, yeah. Oh, he was given more time. Scotty was given more time. That's the upshot. He got his continuance. Okay. And then Crackhead Kenny right here on the 23rd has filed a motion to quash the entire restraining order that Tony brought against him. And then on the 28th, there it is. It's me and KK, because our cases were continued until that date because we're in court the same day. And then this one right here, Special Star, the 29th. This is a bail revocation hearing that's coming up for him on the 29th. That'll be in the big boy court for Solomon's case. For those of you guys who are in Los Angeles and you want to be there, the Mindy's case is at the same courthouse. Clara Shortridge or whatever it's called, the one downtown. I think the Eric and Jason ones might be there too, or they're going to be in Van Nuys where mine is and KK's. But the criminal one is definitely back at the downtown thing. So this is, listen, this case right here, that's the one the state brought, the one that the state brought. This one, these three, and mine, the other. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cases he brought on himself. So don't be cranky. Don't be cranky if you have to go to court all the time. You did that. You did that. Nobody else did that. You did that. These were choices you made. Okay. But these types of litigation, guys, where you're just throwing darts at a wall, throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks, the court is not going to abide by that. The court is going to be pissed that one person has brought 5 cases into the fucking court system. What? That's not going to look good. That's not going to be good. And he's threatening more cases, right? And this is the strategery that DOA is doing now, that Scott's doing. Well, I'm working on all this stuff and it's going to be big and it's going to blow open a lot of things and it costs $1,500. That's interesting. What is the $1,500 for, Scott? Yeah, he lost the Henri April. Yep, he lost that one. Yeah, he did. Fucking Henri beat his ass. So, yeah, he can't talk about Henri anymore, and he doesn't. See, that's how that works when you get a restraining order, when you get the real restraining order on someone. When you are waiting for a hearing, okay, part of the temporary restraining order restricts me as the respondent from contacting Tony in person, via email, via text, via telephone, or via mail. It doesn't prevent me from talking about myself, my case. Okay? My case. It's my case because you brought me into it. So it's my defense that I'm talking about. My response. I'm the respondent. So, yeah, it's just, it's suspicious to me, guys. It does smell, I'm going to be honest, it smells of Scientology. Why does all of this trigger me so much? Maybe because I was held hostage for 3 years straight in those big blue buildings by people who told me every time I tried to escape and run away after they hunted me down and brought me back that if I did leave, I would be a homeless prostitute, addicted to drugs, that I would die alone, no one would love me. This sounds very familiar, very similar to things that have been said to me on the internets, in writing and on video, by both of those individuals, frankly, but mostly by Anthony. So it's just all of this is very triggering, guys. It's very upsetting. I spoke very frankly on my other stream, just trigger warning for everybody. This is going to involve talking about suicide. But for those of you guys who have been following my Scientology story, I'm going to interrupt myself here, Peter, to answer your question. You are correct. How does the state of California have standing to regulate the behavior of individuals in different states? Seems like this venue should be federal. Yeah, because when I've talked to my local authorities, that's what they told me, that the only way for me to get justice is to apply the federal stalking statute and to talk to the FBI. Even the sheriffs and the LAPD officers that I've spoken to have said the same thing. Now, the court that he got, here's the deal, guys. We already know that at the Clara Shortridge court, everybody knows his name. You know, it's like his Cheers now. So he didn't file there, guys. He didn't file with LAPD proper. He went to Topanga, the Topanga station, to talk to those guys where nobody knows him. And then he went to the Chatsworth courthouse, where they don't even have a courthouse. You can just go file paperwork there, and was like, oh no. And he said all the things he said to them, which I'm not going to comment on right now because I have an ongoing litigation with him, and they issued a temporary restraining order and put it to a hearing. Right? So here we are. And as I explained before, Peter, once this gets assigned to a hearing, there is no going back. The hearing process must play out. Now, I did witness a lot of people who did the same thing that Anthony did. They filed all this paperwork, they got a hearing, and then they didn't show up for the hearing. Like, I don't know if they didn't have full understanding that if you don't show up, the restraining order goes away, or maybe they worked it out with the other party individually. But if the petitioner doesn't show up, then the matter is automatically dissolved in the eyes of the court because there's nothing to grant. Obviously, the person was fine enough to not show up to court. Right? What's up, Brian? That could have been an option for Tony to just not show up to all these things that he brought, and they would have all been dismissed and we'd be done and he could focus on, the Solomon case. But yeah, he didn't do that. So here we are. We're going into day 2 of my hearing. Yeah, hopefully at this hearing, we will actually get to present evidence. We did not get to that portion. The judge talked to us. I had a lawyer present. Tony then decided, because I had a lawyer, he literally said in court, well, I didn't know she was going to have representation. Now I want to bring a lawyer into it, and the judge was like, okay. My lawyer tried to move to dismiss the entire matter, based on paperwork. The judge considered both of those things, told us to come back right before lunch. During lunch, she told us we had to exchange evidence, which we did, because even if I wasn't able to get Miss McKeon to be my lawyer, okay, I was fully prepared with my evidence to move forward and present my case on that day. I was ready to rock and roll. But we exchanged evidence. Yeah. And then Tony requested a continuance because he was unable to open the PDFs that I sent him. And the judge was like, I guess it seems like there's some technical difficulties. And that's when I got very emotional, because I don't think it was a technical difficulty to send a specific link that said, don't open this. This could be Rumble, somebody impersonating rumble.com. We took a screenshot of it. It was more, some of the links opened just fine. And some of them it didn't open and said, don't continue to this site. It looks like something is impersonating rumble.com. And we tried to point that out to the judge, and she was just like, okay, let's regroup another time. And I got very upset at that because I felt like, I didn't know why it needed to continue, but that's, and I had as the kids call it, I had a mentee B. Yeah. And as you guys know, in 2023, or actually early 2024, last year, after the first 18 months of this campaign run by Anthony D'Amato, I had to leave full-time employment and go into intensive outpatient psychiatric therapy. Before even going to LA, I was already ready to reinsert myself into that because I was in a worse place now than back then when I originally entered. I have chosen to delay that and work on rest and nutrition and centering myself as much as I can because I want to end this. I want this to be over because that is like 5 hours of therapy a day, 4 days a week. And I want to focus on that when I do it. I don't want to have all of my attention on this because that's what will happen. And the Scientological nature of this campaign, and frankly, the campaign that Scott's running, is astounding to me. What's also ironic, right, is that 86 GOP used to be Scott's biggest donor. Okay, here's how my conspiracy brain works, guys. Okay, Scott Hochstetter arrives on the scene in early 2024, not like a bolt from the blue like Dianetics, but like a fucking trash can from hell, okay? He rolls up after driving cross country, listening to Streets' lives on a nightly basis to educate him. These are all his words, to educate himself on the anti-Scientology movement, right? And so what's his first move? Is his first move to just show up and like do what other people have done that got into it, just sort of like observe and try and like be like, wow, what's this about? And then like, participate. Nope. Shows up in his flip-flops and a fucking leopard print, somebody's Nana's jacket, pineapple sunglasses, and a pork pie hat. Okay. With a sign that says free Kool-Aid. Which I found very distasteful. To stand in front of a cult and yell about Kool-Aid is incredibly distasteful, in my opinion. And yeah. And slowly worked his way into the affections of Laura FM and, started immediately calling out the bad actors. Now, here's another gentleman who was also plugged and approved by Aaron Smith Levin. Put him on a show, did interviews with him, talked to him about the protesting, his history of protests, right? Until it wasn't convenient anymore. Then Aaron, started talking shit about him. But again, this is 2 for 2. Aaron brought in Tony and then didn't do anything about him forever while he was shitting on everybody else, and then finally did the one video. I don't even know if it's still up or not. And then brought Scott in a year later and then did the same thing. It's just, I know, Rox. But I'm just saying, they have that in common. What else they have in common is, well, Tony's story changes on that all the time. First, he was a Scientologist, then he wasn't a Scientologist ever. Then it's against the law to say he's a Scientologist. That's a hate crime. And then you can't call someone an anti-Scientologist. I don't know what the fuck. But the other thing that Scott and Tony have in common is now they have labeled people like me, specifically me on multiple occasions, as an independent Scientologist, which is so fucking insulting. I cannot even tell you. There has been a 0.00 negative bajillion percentage amount of time that I have practiced Scientology outside of the time I was entrapped there. So, as a survivor of Scientology, as someone who has daily crippling CPTSI fucking pain all over my body from physical wounds from being there, fuck you. Fuck you for saying that. Independent Scientologists, in my opinion, people who practice Lafayette's idiocracy outside of the Church of Scientology proper, are even stupider than full-bred, poshy posh Scientologists. Because you left because you saw that the organization itself was corrupt, but somehow you think that that's not due to Lafayette? You're doing the same shit. You're just doing it for less money. So you wanted a discount. I mean, like, Jesus Christ on a cracker. So to call me an independent Scientologist, frankly, that is a hate crime. That is a hate crime. Like, go fuck yourself. How dare you? How dare any of you do that? But they have all these things in common. Now 86 is Tony's biggest donor. And I thought when 86 was donating to Scott that he was a Scientologist. Like, of course. Who wouldn't want to see this guy, Scott, come in and disrupt and destroy this movement? Scientology wants that. 100%. First, they tried with Danny, if you guys remember. They tried to bring a case against Danny for the dog thing or something, some sort of weird assault that ended up getting proven in court that Danny didn't assault anybody. But during that, Moxon tried to say that all of the protesters were a what? A gang. That's right. Ding, 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 ding. A gang. And what are Tony and fucking Scott trying to do now? They are also trying to prove some form of gang statute against people who, frankly, just don't like you because you fucked. Yeah, scooter guy. Right. Because you fucked with us so fucking much and you've destroyed everything in your path. And you've dedicated the last year, both of you, of your life to shitting on people and hurting them psychologically. Words have power. That's a fact. If words didn't have power, what would the Constitution even be worth? Those are words, right? If words didn't have power, would people quote movies so often? Would people quote books and poetry and plays? Those are all words. Words inspire people. They move you. It's part of the human experience. It's how we communicate, how we express our feelings. Of course, words are powerful. They're not just words. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I don't know anything about what's happening with Lady Gaga. I'm sorry. I'm so out of the loop. I don't know. I have nothing to comment on that. So, maybe that's just my conspiracy brain, guys. But when I see two gentlemen engaged in the same warfare through different tactics, of course, but for the same purpose. It only, to me, that tells me that only one group of individuals is involved. And that is, of course, the Office of Special Affairs that sits down there on Hollywood Boulevard, just above the L. Ron Hubbard expedition. Hello, Kirsten. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm still here, guys. Sorry. Still here. Still not dead. It was close. It was close, guys, but I'm coming back to LA, and I think that more protests are better. I love what Audit's doing on a daily basis. I love the fact that she shows up over and over and over and over again. And that consistency, that tenacity has moved the needle in the most positive direction that has ever been moved in the history of my life. There is no other singular action, book, movie, television show that has produced as much change directly for the Church of Scientology than what Audit LA is doing and everyone else who participates with her on a daily basis. And I say that not because Leah Remini's show was highly impactful. Okay. People watched that. They got educated. Maybe some people even left Scientology because of that. Bravo. Same thing with, hey, Selma, even, Going Clear, that book and film, immensely impactful. All of the brave former Scientologists who have written books, huge. Okay. Little by little. But right now we are in the era of Audit LA and Jamie Mustard's book, Child X, or if you prefer comic books because you're a visual person, go get the, it's really basically a, not animated, that's not the correct word, but it's kind of like an anime form of it called Hybrid. Okay. And yeah, that's right, Amy, it is grassroots. But the difference is that Leah's book, as an example, which sold millions of copies coming out, didn't change anything for Scientology. Now, it changed some public perception, just as every book that's come out has. But Audit LA's specific work of going into the committees every day and speaking every day, and what did Audit and Lara just do? They handed out Jamie Mustard's book to the police commission. Why? Because the police need to know what goes on behind those doors. They need an eyewitness to tell them. And that's what Jamie's book does, right? But because of Audit's work and all of the people who are doing this work with her, Scientology can't just walk into City Hall and get a permit for whatever they want. They are having to play by the rules now. They can't just shut down L. Ron Hubbard Way for a week because they feel like it. No. And they have to follow the hours very strictly. And they have to use and be good on the noise ordinances. How many years have the neighbors who are not Scientologists spent calling the fucking police and calling the city saying these people are keeping me up all night. I can't sleep. They have workers out here till 2 a.m. doing shit. And nothing's done. Well, now things are starting to get done. Right? Now things are starting to get done. Now the police commissioner, the chief of police is like, something might be up in those buildings. That's not good. The city planning office is like, this is not good. These are all huge changes for them, guys. Huge change. That's real change. Shutting down their power in real time, that's change. Okay? And that's the change we need to focus on. I thought for years and years, we got to focus on getting the public aware. Okay, well, the public awareness campaign worked. And I say it worked because all you guys here in my audience right now, you guys are not Scientologists. You never were. And that's fucking great. And a lot of you are out there doing shit about it because you feel so strongly about it from hearing from me and other people. It's fucking great. Now we need to now here's what happened. Let's rewind again. So 2023, we start riding into this huge wave of public awareness, activism. And then Tony comes in. Boop, 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 boop. And what happens to that cohesive group that was known as SPTV at the time? What happened? It's fucking gone. That's what happened. It's fucking gone. Okay. At one point, we had 225 channels daily protesting around the world, protesting Scientology, bringing awareness. Now we're down to like what, 10? Maybe? That was phase 1. Phase 2 was Scott, okay, the big disruptor, because Tony just got people to shit all over each other and expose our own weaknesses, right? Our own calluses, our CPTSD, our distrust of each other, okay, and all that kind of stuff. Psychological. Then came the wrecking ball, Scott, who came in here with his authority and his experience protesting. And what has been the net result of Scott Hochstetter protesting? Every single person who was blowing this up on TikTok, gone. Gone. I mean, Streets does like, I think like a Scientology related stream like what? Like once every 3 months, maybe? Jessica doesn't. Sometimes she'll drive by and say, "Hi, Shannon." LA Cam, Chris Without a Hellcat, Confident Chris, Cutsy, I think, is still out there. We lost Hollywood Aja. We lost Tao. This is just the LA crew that I'm talking about, guys. Not to mention all the people across the whole fucking country of the United States and internationally. 2 dudes, came in, sowed chaos and discord, got the chats to fight with each other, okay? And then we have a complete disbursement. Like, mission accomplished. Scientology is high-fiving themselves. Right? But neither of these guys walked away unscathed. Scott is facing 6 counts, I guess. And Tony's facing 26 counts, y'all. 26 counts. 22 of them under the Penal Code 273.6A, disobeying domestic relations court order. 2 for the Penal Code 273A, B, willful cruelty to a child, and 2 counts under Penal Code 646.9A, stalking. So, and Scott, I don't have his case pulled up. I have Tony's case pulled up here. I had Scott's, but that tab, I closed it by accident. He's facing 6 very serious charges that they're trying to tack on hate crimes to, because he happened to do those things on Church of Scientology property. Now, I think the hate crime is a little egregious in my personal opinion. But again, Scott, it's not Scientology bringing this case against you. This is not a civil case. This is a criminal case that the state of California is bringing against you. Okay? Both of these gentlemen are being tried. The people of the state of California versus Anthony D'Amato. That's what it says on the thing. And the same thing for Scott. It says the people of the state of California versus Scott Hochstetter. Did they drop the hate crimes? I don't know. I thought that they did too with the recharging of some of the crimes, but I don't know. So for either of these people to now claim, okay, especially Scott, I don't know if Tony's done it so much, especially for Scott to claim that he has the most important case in the history of fighting Scientology. I'm sorry, what? What? You, the guy who's wearing a cape and a Burger King crown and is screaming at old people on the street and breaking shit and filming yourself breaking the shit. That's what's going to break Scientology. What is the net result of your case going to be, Scott? Scientology is going down? How is that in your mind? I don't understand that at all. Same thing with Anthony. I don't know what he thinks all of these restraining orders against people speaking out about Scientology is going to do for him. Right? I don't think it's going to play out the way that he thinks, that either of them think. I honestly, I think that in their cases against the state of, or the whatever, state of California versus them, I think with the evidence that we all know of, I think they're both going to jail. You know, now the time in jail will depend on their behavior and, you know, the court's discretion. You know, I'm not a judge. I don't get to assign that. But from what I see where I'm sitting, it sounds like jail. You know, and just because you go to the police and make a police report doesn't mean a crime has occurred. It just means you went to the police and told them what you think happened. Now, if a police officer gets a report of something and they consider it to be serious enough, they will investigate that. And in investigating it, they will look at evidence, number one. And then they also have to talk to the person who's under investigation. So when people go to court and they wave around papers and they say, this is a police report about violations, that really doesn't mean anything. First of all, it has to be submitted into evidence. It has to be revealed to the other party. And it has to be factual. And just because a police report happened doesn't matter. Because if the district attorney or, you know, whomever doesn't determine that's an actual crime and we're going to charge them with something, right? You have to be charged by the district attorney's office, then there's no crime. None. And yelling about crimes that are not being charged, especially when you have a legal proceeding pending against someone, can be construed in some cases as, you know, harassment and intimidation. So, yeah. Yeah, most California prisons are not air conditioned per Google. Yeah, that's really sucks. Personally, I think that's cruel and unusual punishment, which is supposed to be against the law. That's that's supposed to be against the law. I don't agree with that. I don't agree. I really wish that, like other countries, our prison system was far more useful in reforming people than it is. So, yeah. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay, well, that's my body telling me it's time to be done. I'm going to circle back to my GoFundMe, guys, real quick, because I need to. I need money. That's me. See? I need your guys' help. If you can help me make this goal of $7,500 so I can pay this lawyer her $5,000 retainer and continue to travel to Los Angeles to defend myself, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, my PayPal, Venmo, Cash App is open. I really want to get back to making more very dedicated Scientological content here that is very targeted, very evergreen, and also continue my public protesting of Scientology here on this channel with you guys. I do, if time allots for it and my mental health is fucking not broken while I'm in Los Angeles, you will see me protesting outside of some location there in Los Angeles. I don't want to give away the surprise. A Scientology location there in Los Angeles while I am there because I would really love to do that. Yes, I have. Let's pull that up. Let's pull that up, guys. This is a brand new channel. Brand new kid on the block here, F Sciento TV. If you guys are not subscribed, please go subscribe. We have 24/7 live coverage of Scientology protests, and we have some very awesome dedicated videos here. Okay. And people that are contributing to, videos here on the channel. All right. So I'm going to show a little bit of it. Don't strike me dead. But here's live coverage. This is from September 28th. Pack it up, Dianetics booksellers. Pack it up. Pack it up. Stop trying to hawk that nonsense on the street. Okay? So this is very effective protesting. And, oh, that's a whole other thing there. This is, this is from the Wayback Machine. Yeah, that's a direct threat to me. I need to put that back on the other thing here, but let's go back to this. All right. So if you guys can subscribe here and support, we need to bring awareness. We need to bring awareness of what's going on in Scientology. They have a 24-hour news channel. Why can't we? Why can't we? This is a great thought, Peter. I like this. I like this. The reality is that protesters of Scientology have come in waves. We weren't the first wave to crest and trough. There will be a new crest. I hope so. I hope so. And let's usher that in a new era. That's what this channel is going to be about. Solely, wholly, completely. If you want to hang out with me and do other kind of shit, it's going to be a lot of stuff. Come on over to my other channel, Nora Knows. And we're just doing like whatevs there, like for reals. But if you want to follow me on my, journey here in battling Scientology and everything that comes along with that, please do. Please come and be here. I'm going to be putting out more content. And it's gonna be fantastic. Tom Cruise is watching me. He might be. Tom, if you are watching, I would like to say directly to you, sir. I think I would. I propose. I can take you to dinner the next time I'm in Los Angeles. I mean, it won't be fancy. It won't be like at the Vine or anything. But we could hit up like El Pollo Loco or something delicious like that. But like, honestly, let's sit and talk and debate this out here, sir, because what you are standing behind has stolen your child from you. I want you to really consider that. You let Scientology steal Siri from you. Suri. Sorry. See, now my phone's talking. Suri. You let them steal her from you. Well, steal you from her. And as someone who lost their father when I was 19, I can tell you it's not worth it. You're not going to come to her as an Obi-Wan Kenobi ghost and talk to her. My dad was also OT. Still waiting. Still waiting 30 years later. It's 30 years this year that my dad passed. Oh, Jesus. Did that day come and go? It did. It's been 30 years. 30 years. I think that's actually today. Oh, I try not to think about it every year, but it's impossible. That's a long time to lose somebody. Yeah. R.I.P. Daddy. R.I.P. There you go. But like I said, Tom, you're still alive. It's never too late. Suri's alive. There's nothing more important than your kids. Nothing. And Bella and Connor would follow you to the moon and back, homie. They're not leaving you. So. Oh, thank you very much, Trokar. Thank you. Thank you also to everybody who's donated at all, anywhere. So much appreciate. Thank you for the ability to go down there and do this. And just, if you haven't gotten Jamie's book, go get it. Learn the truth. Learn the very hard truth about Scientology. It's not pretty. It's not fun. Yeah. And thank you guys for being here. I'm going to try and put out more content here. It's probably going to be, honestly, more pre-recorded stuff. I'm going to try and make it more bite-sized so that people can understand it, because I like to talk, as we all know. This is a truth. But I want people to be able to get the info they need to combat this criminal syndicate, this criminal worldwide syndicate, and help take them down in the same way that Audit is doing very systematically in Los Angeles. Okay? So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you so much. I love you. Thank you to my mods. And I will see you all on the Flippity Dippity.